Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, January 4th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple quick clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will still be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol ABVC. Nice mover today. And now we have a good solid pattern here headed into Thursday. So let's get this pattern mapped out. Top part of the pattern is what I would consider this resistance trend line right there. And then the bottom part of the pattern, the support trend line right there. Let me change that to green to represent support. There we go. And then maybe make this easier to see. Let me just take it all to one color. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the huge explosion right here. And for you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. And this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible that if the price can come up to the top part of the pattern and get the break up through it, that break in and of itself could produce that much more buying pressure? Absolutely. Whether you want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy or whatever you want to call it, when you have a lot of people watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, it can create, like I said, those big surges in momentum. So if you like stocks down below $5, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, NEXI, and same general idea here. Not quite as good of looking pattern, but still a nice looking pattern. And this one really starts off with the fact that the price is sitting right down here around $6.10, which is proven to be a good solid area of support. You can see right there the price hovered around that area, and then you look this afternoon and the price is once again hanging right around that area. So one of those situations where no guarantees, but would it be shocking to see the price bounce off that area? It would not. I mean, it's already bounced off there once again. So if it were to do that again on Thursday, like I said, no guarantees, but certainly a valid question to throw out there on whether or not that could potentially happen. In terms of areas of resistance, pretty straightforward here. You have this general area right up here around $10.50. Now, it's not exact, but, just broadly speaking, right up around this general area, is going to be a key level to watch moving forward. But that's kind of irrelevant right now because as of right now, the price is all the way down here in the $6 mark. But it really shows how volatile today was because I think that this is basically a $4 channel. Very, very volatile stock. So if you like the volatile stocks, then this is one that I definitely keep an eye on. But yeah, the 610 mark down here, very interesting scenario here in terms of whether or not this will provide a bounce like it did originally. Next one here, ticker symbol NKLA, and the bears continue to take over on this one. It started yesterday with the leading indicator, that leading indicator being the price finally broke down through that pink line there, the 200 period moving average, which had not been the case for a very long time. You can see the price try to bounce. It got immediately rejected from there. And then today was a follow through as down it's gone. So like I said, bears picked up momentum on on Tuesday, but today, there was just that much more solidification of that momentum in the downwards direction. And as far as areas of support moving forward, nothing fancy here at all other than asking a very basic question. Where did the bleeding finally stop today? And you can see that the bleeding stopped right there at that area where the bounce occurred, which puts the support right there at the 73-cent mark. So 73 cents is going to be a very important level. And from a pattern perspective, potentially a double bottom. I mean, you have bottom number one right there where it bounced. Does it come down here again? Level out 4 and bottom 2 and then bounce back up? That is, as I've said, not a guarantee, but a more than valid question to throw out there. So if you like to play potential double bottoms, then yeah, that 73-cent mark is relatively interesting. If the price does bounce upwards, key level to watch originally going to be right up there around the 77.5-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, overall, very, very rough day. Next one here, ticker symbol MARA, and basically a mirror image of yesterday, just in the opposite direction. So yesterday was a big gap and trap. Price gapped up here, and then down it went. This was also a gap and trap, but just in the opposite direction. Price gapped down, and then up it went from that point of view. So all things considered, very, very healthy day. And from an overall standpoint, good solid move because, yes, the price did start off down below the pink line there, which you now know is the 200 period moving average. But with a strong bounce, the price was able to get above it and then has continued to maintain above it. So moving forward, that pink line there is definitely going to be that ideal level of support, meaning, what's going to make the chart look the healthiest now, specifically in regards to this big bounce from today. And that would be if the price can stay above that 200 period moving average. If the price is going to continue to fight upwards, then yes, you still have this 25-20 mark, which I've talked about in the past. But now because that purple line there has crossed down below it, that being a moving average. So in other words, because that purple line has moved down below the red line, the purple line there actually takes priority number one in terms of the initial area of resistance. So even if the price does break above the purple line, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a good step in the right direction, assuming you're bullish, but you would still have to focus on that 25.20 mark as that next area of resistance. But no doubt about it, very nice bounce today. Can the price now start to maintain back above that 200 period moving average and then eventually break up through those areas of resistance? We'll see how the next couple of days play out. Next one here, ticker symbol AMC, and very, very rough move here. And this will mean a little bit more to those that have been watching past videos, but if you have, then we've been talking about this sideways channel action that has just been back and forth, back and forth. But today the price dropped to the bottom of the channel, and you can see the floodgates just opened up, and down it's gone. So very, very brutal move here. I'll go ahead and get rid of that as it's no longer relevant. And I'll make the first update into that just based on a foundational rule, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. But because this line is kind of irrelevant now, because that just shows how big of a breakdown it was, I'll just drag this area of resistance now down to this newer area right down there around $5.80. So keep an eye on that if there is any sort of attempted bounce. And then as far as supports, just go back to that very straightforward question. Where did the bleeding finally stop today? And yes, there is a whole lot of bleeding. The bleeding stopped down there at 555. So 555 is what finally produced the bounce, but that'll be the main area of support moving forward. And I believe this is down at all-time lows. I guess I could be wrong. But yeah, we are at all-time lows now as far as, let's go back to the 30-minute time frame. AMC's history is concerned, and that includes, with that split that it did several months ago. But yeah, overall, very, very rough day. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, ticker symbol SOFI, and very, very brutal move. Now, to be fair, it was a rough day here for the markets too, but these stocks here really got beat down quite a bit as, these big moving averages have been broken. The price gapped down below the 200 period moving average and then just continue to drift downwards. But what does make this interesting is, it maybe some sort of bottom is forming. As you can see here, the price has very clearly gone sideways here with that 827-ish area. Let me change that to green, being that level of support. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there is a big gap down and just because the price is now going sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed this thing is going to bounce upwards. My point here is that it's plausible now. It's, as opposed to, let's say the price was still just drifting down, 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 and I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like the price is at a bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, based on what? The price is literally just dropping straight down. But that's not the case here. It has started to go sideways. Does not mean it's a bottom, but it becomes a little bit more rational to throw that out there. So as far as those of you that like to play the bottoms, try to find kind of those situations where you can get good risk-reward scenarios. Of course, assuming you're going to be disciplined, then I'd say that this one definitely fits the bill. So the big question mark moving forward, is this some sort of bottom here forming? We'll see what happens. Next one here, BETS, and overall, yes, the chart's hanging in there with the sideways channel, but you got to be careful, especially with the volume, because the volume has gotten lower and lower and lower. And the problem with that is, especially on this price stock, is people get bored. People want to see movement. People are not here to watch paint dry. And when people get bored, they want to move on to stuff that is moving. And in order to move on, they've got to get out and sell. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen for sure, but when you see this volume dropping, and you see the price essentially just kind of going sideways, you got to be, aware of that threat. That, the demographic that trades these sorts of stocks are going to get bored, and they're very realistically potentially going to want to move on. So just keep that in mind also. But other than that, not a whole lot occurred. The price is still within the sideways channel. Bottom of the channel support at 0093. Top of the channel resistance up there at 0.0132. I suppose one thing that did change is that within the channel, it's worked its way a little bit closer to the bottom part. But you would hope and expect to see the bottom part of this channel act that much stronger, because not only do you have this 0093 mark, but you have to look closely. But basically that pink line is essentially right at the same value as the bottom of the channel. And that pink line is the 200 period moving average. So keep an eye on 0093 if the price does go down there. Very interesting potential bounce point, but you also got to be aware of that volume and people potentially losing interest. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and had talked about this sideways channel, and that was broken. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of these lines here. In fact, let's just clear them both out. And now we have, right now, basically, So let me just get this in place. A bear pennant pattern that should be red. This is the green part, so that's the support. But you can see here, and let me just illustrate this. So we have our support, resistance, downwards move here. So it's an upside down pennant. So the golf hole would actually be up here. So bear pennant, and what's occurring right now is you can see the price is actually slightly below this. So the big question mark moving forward is this the start of a bigger move? Is this continuation going to ramp up to the downside where Tesla is now putting in even newer lows? Now, just because like there's a bullish pattern does not mean the price is going to go up. Same is true for bearish patterns. Just because there's a bearish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go downwards. But it certainly is it certainly is a plausible question to be asking, because bear pennant, the price is now down below the breakout point. So is this just a fake breakdown and then it's going to snap back up, which Tesla is sort of famous for doing? But Tesla is also famous for making some really, really big movements in the direction of the break. And right now, the direction of the break within the pattern context is downward. So yes, big question mark here. Is Tesla about to head to even further lower lows? We'll see what happens. Next one here, AMD, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but if you have, I hope you remember me talking about this 135 mark as an area of support and the power of charts. Now, was this area exact and precise? It was not, but I mean, broadly speaking, when you're talking about a $100 stock, I mean, amazing how the price came down here and then just basically found that as kind of the middle point of where it just just kind of bounce back and forth the rest of the day. Now that we have more data, I'm going to make an adjustment and just adjust this area down to here, as it seems like maybe 134 is more so the accurate area. But 135, I still would call an area of support, but just for clarity's sake, we'll call it the 134 mark. And I probably should have put this by SOFI, but remember SOFI, that was the one that started to go sideways. And as I said on that one, just because something goes sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed it's a bottom, but it's rational to think that way. And the same applies here for AMD. Gap down, price basically went sideways the entire day long. So is this some sort of leading indicator of a bottom? Is this thing getting ready to make some sort of bounce back upwards? No guarantees, but that is a plausible thought, especially when it's AMD, a very popular stock out there. So when you have popular stocks, there's just that many more people watching it, so you can get more so of some of those self-fulfilling prophecies. But yeah, AMD, is this some sort of bottom? Thursday is going to be very interesting. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ is going to go down, this one will also go down. If you think it's going to go up, this one will go up. And in this situation, because the NASDAQ had a very rough day today, so did this one, and lower lows on this as the price has now violated both these. And then just from the moving average crossover world, we have, not the greatest crossover there when the 50 period crossing down through the 200 period moving average. So yeah, this pullback is getting more severe. It's definitely picking up bearish momentum, and we'll see if this continues or not. I'll go ahead and get rid of that line. And what I'm curious about now moving forward is, let me get that area of support in play. And then we have right here. So we have a bit of a falling wedge pattern, which is actually a bullish pattern. You would think that a falling wedge would be bearish, but actually a rising wedge is a bearish one. But falling wedge here. So I'm curious, is this, yes, it put in some new lows today, but is this some sort of, consolidation where we can get some sort of, not necessarily full-blown reversal, but move to the upside? It's looking like potentially maybe the bulls are going to want to try to show some signs of life. But you also have to be, fair that there's definitely been a lot of downwards pressure, which what this trend line is representing. In fact, I mean, if you wanted to, you could extend this, up to here to really illustrate just the downwards pressure of things. But nonetheless, you do have this falling wedge component that is formed here. And like I said previously on Tesla with the bearish pattern, just because there's bullish patterns doesn't mean the price is going to go up. And obviously if this thing comes down here and just blasts down through the bottom, that would be like, okay, well, this pattern's no longer in play. But as of now, as I speak, the pattern is in play. So if you like if you like, falling wedge patterns, then we definitely have one here on this ETF that measures the overall NASDAQ. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free class. It'll be very soon, Thursday, January 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching for tomorrow. Those two things really help out the channel, and I appreciate it. So get signed up for that free class. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.